Hey fam, we are back. Back for another reading. So today we are reading 1 Samuel verse 22. It's quite long. So we are reading from verse 1 until 23. 1 to 23 is not that long, but yeah, it just means the verses are long in between. So yeah, so last time we learned about how David fled to Gath, where he actually faked being a madman, just trying to escape from Saul. And then so also about how he and Jonathan came up with a plan to oh no, that's the previous week. Yeah, so basically David eating the holy bread from Ahimelech, the priest who was in Nope, nope, yeah. So today we are reading about how uh, David at the cave of Adullam, and we're also going to read Saul kills the priest at Nob. If you remember, Nob was where the other priests were. So yeah, Saul. As you know, I'm not really a fan of Saul. Saul as a man. So yeah, like I can understand that God had a mission, and I mean, if things have to happen, things have to happen. So yeah, just Saul was just the ignorant leader, and he didn't even. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's go. Verse 1. That's David at the cave of Adullam. Adullam, yeah. So David departed from there and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And when his brothers and all his father's house heard it, they went down there. Oh. So David left. If you remember, he was in Gath, and then where the king of Gath, I think the king is Achisha. Uh, yeah, the king brought David to King Achish, and then Achish was like, "Why are you bringing a madman to me?" So after that, then David managed to flee from, to leave Gath, and then now he went to the cave of Adullam. So after David left Gath, and then now he's went to the cave of Adullam. His family heard about it, so now they went there to see him, and everyone who was in distress, and everyone who was in debt, and everyone who was bitter in soul gathered to him. Wow. So everyone kind of resonated with David. They're like, I understand my brother. So because like it's saying everyone in distress, everyone in debt, and everyone bitter in soul gathered gathered to him. So like the low, I don't know, yeah. And he became a commander over them, and there were with him about 400 men. So yeah, so everyone just kind of saw that, okay, David, I don't know if they knew at this point that David was anointed king, because I don't know if they ever say, like, I think, yeah, at some point they do say, like, David is king. I mean, after Saul is no more, so they do say that David is king, but I don't know if everyone found out gradually that David was the anointed king, or they were just gravitating toward him because they saw the kind of man Saul was, and they didn't like that. So I'm not sure how what motivated this people's response here, especially because now they are accompanied by David's family, David's brothers and father. So I don't know if like they are going there because the brothers told them that, okay, David is a king, or they just like we see that Saul is not a good man, so we want to, form an alliance with you. And it was about 400 men. So imagine I'm running away from my life. I'm trying to save my life, and then about 400 people want to like follow me everywhere I go. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, I guess. and sorry. Okay. And David went from there to Mizpeh of Moab, and he said to the king of Moab, "Please let my fathers and my mother stay with you till I know what God will do for me." So imagine now he is seeking refuge from the king of Moab. So he's going to the king, he's like, "Ish king, please help. Please help with my mother and father." And then until I know what God has planned for me. And he left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him all the time that David was in the stronghold. So yeah, so for the duration, like basically the entire time when David is running for his life, the king of Moab took care of David's parents. Then the prophet Gad said to David, "Do not remain in the stronghold. Depart and go into the land of Judah." So the David, yeah, obviously now the prophet is telling David, "Okay, man, I understand that you are afraid for your life, but you cannot stay here. You cannot remain hidden for the rest of your life. Now go to Judah." So David departed and went into the forest of Hereth. So yeah, David departed and went into the forest of Hereth. So David is leaving now. He's going to Judah. So if you remember what Judah is basically one of is it Jacob's sons. And if you know that the 12 sons of Jacob later became tribes, so Judah is one of the tribes. So David was now directed to go to Judah. So meaning that David, along with the 400 men who wanted to follow him, are now going to Judah. Now we are getting into Saul kills the priest at Nob. This petty little man. Yeah. I don't know if, yeah, I think Saul is tall. Yeah, Saul is definitely tall. And then David is the one who is not as tall. Because I remember that Saul, like when they were anointing Saul, they could see that he was like shoulder length above everyone else. And then David was always described as a small looking boy stature. Rowdy, I think Rowdy is just, yeah, whatever. And now Saul heard that David was discovered and the men who were with him. Saul was sitting at Gibeah under the tamarisk tree on the height with his spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing with him. So Saul found out that David, David is now in Dave. Okay, let me go back. So now Saul heard that David was discovered and the men who were with him. So Saul found out that someone found out where David was, and then he also had some men with him. So Saul was sitting at Gibeah under the tamarisk tree on the height with his spear in his hand. So he was sitting at the top of a tree and holding a spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing about him, so standing just around him. And Saul said to his servant who stood about him, "Hear now, people of Benjamin, will the son of Jesse give every one of you fields and vineyards? Will he make you all commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds?" So this is Saul trying to get the support of the people that are already supporting him. So he's like, "Yo guys, is David going to give you fields? Is he going to give you houses? Is he going to give you like farms, like ways for you to keep living and working and give you a job? Is he going to do that?" Because like I think at this point he is talking mainly to the Benjaminites. If you remember, the Benjaminites are also the tribe of Israel. So the Benjaminites, Benjamin was also one of the sons of Israel. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So now Saul is trying to get more support. Like, guys, is he going to take care of you? Is he going to feed you? So yeah. Now that is he going to Is he going to make you commanders of thousands and hundreds, that all you have conspired against me? And now he's suddenly blaming the people that are working with him, saying like, you guys are conspiring against me. Insecurities, insecurities, insecurities. This just goes to show like you can give someone power and money, and their thinking will always show you where they really are. Because money doesn't change how who a person is. It just exposes who they really are. So I mean, power, it doesn't really change who a person is. It just exposes who they really are. So now Saul is saying that everyone is conspiring against him. Imagine all these people are just standing him. Well, so basically he's saying the 400 men who are with David, they conspired against him, and now they left. Now everyone else, then it also means that everyone else is also conspiring against him. And mind you, if you know, the 400 men left from where Jesse and David's brothers were. So they didn't leave from where Saul was. So where is he getting all of these theories? Yeah. So no one disclosed to me when my son makes a covenant with the son of Jesse. So it's like no one told me when Jonathan made a covenant with David. Were they there? I mean, how were they? As far as I know, how were they supposed to know that David had made a covenant Jonathan had made a covenant with David. So how were they supposed to know? Because as far as I can remember, it was just the two of them, and then yeah. But I think when you're insecure, you can see like your insecurities enlarges all your fears or all your theories that you have going on in your head. So none of you is sorry for me or discloses to me that my son has stirred up my servant against me, to lie in wait as at this day. So so now he's saying like, yeah, now Jonathan, his own son, is also conspiring against him, and now he's lying in wait, waiting for Saul, maybe to kill him. Mind you, none of this is true. David is the one who is running for his life because of Saul. It's not the other way around. It's not. But here Saul is like, oh no, David is trying to conspire. But like, he is the one who's like, this is a manipulation, projection, and everything 101. So like, this is I think really Saul's brain should have been studied. Saul's brain should have been studied, because I feel like most of the people right now that tend to deflect or avoid responsibility, they kind of think like this. I know it's not all of them, so I'm just saying some of them or most of them. They always are blaming outward. No one ever looks inward like, oh no, maybe I did this. No one. They're always blaming other people and circumstances. So this is also Saul. Now he's also saying that his son, his own biological son, is also conspiring against him. Yeah. Then answered Doug the Edomite, who stood by the servant of Saul. Doug, if you remember, Doug was there when David got the bread from Ahimelech. So Doug was there. They did mention it in chapter 21. So now Doug is now back with Saul. He's saying, then answered Doug the Edomite, who stood by the servant of Saul, I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob, to Ahimelech the son of Ahitub, and he inquired of the Lord for him, and gave him provision, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine. So I guess now Doug is now motivated to divulge all this information. It's like, okay, I saw imagine this and he calls himself a man. Okay, I know I'm judging because I'm reading from the outward perspective, obviously. So I feel like, yes, I am judging, because I feel like, yeah, he was there. And now, like, he knows everything. But I guess everyone is just either afraid for their lives, or they just want favor with the king. So yeah, now Doug is like, yeah, I was there. I saw the son of Jesse come into Nob, and Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, he inquired of the Lord for him, and gave him provision, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine. So he's just basically telling him what happened. But he's not lying, at least. He's not lying. As much as he's a snitch, he's still not lying. So then the king sent to summon Ahimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house, and the priests who were at Nob, and all of them came to the king. So yeah, David only spoke to Ahimelech, but now Saul is summoning everyone, his family and all the other priests, people that probably didn't even know that David was there in the first place. And so Saul said, "Hear now, son of Ahitub." So he answered, "Here I am, my lord." So basically Saul called Ahimelech, and then Ahimelech answered, "Here I am." Saul said, "Why have you conspired against me, you and the son of Jesse, in that you have given him bread and a sword, and have inquired of God for him, so that he has risen against me to lie in wait at this day?" Yeah. Yeah. I honestly feel like I can't wait for Saul to die. I know it's a bit hateful, but this man is annoying. Yeah, so now he's telling Ahitub, "Why did you conspire with David to get rid of me now? You fed him, you took care of him." But if you remember, David lied to Ahimelech, saying that Saul sent him on this mission. So obviously Ahimelech didn't know that David was lying. I don't know if he would have done anything differently if he knew that David was lying. But yeah, this is where we find ourselves. Then Ahimelech answered the king, "And who among all your servants is so faithful as David, who is the king's son-in-law and captain over your bodyguard and honored in your house?" So Ahimelech is just reminding Saul, like, hey, David is your loyal servant. He is the king's son-in-law. Remember, he is married to your daughter, and he is the captain over your bodyguard. So he takes, like, he's your bodyguard's boss, like, yeah. And he is honored in your house. In your house, you gave him all these 3 positions, and now you are questioning me. Is today the first time that I have inquired of the Lord for him? I mean, good question, Ahimelech. Ahimelech is like, isn't it my job that I inquire of the Lord for everyone who comes to me and asks? Isn't it my job? So obviously it's not the first time that I inquire of the Lord for David. You also probably ask for help if you, but yeah, knowing Saul, knowing Saul, he would never admit to any of this. Is today the first time that I have inquired of the Lord for him? Good question. Ahimelech is not lying. Ahimelech is just being open and honest about everything. Yes, he came. He works for you. You hired him. You gave him 3 positions close to you. And it's not, I'm just doing my job. So what do you have against me? What do you have against me? What have I done so wrong that you think I am conspiring against you, King Saul? What? And no, let not the king impute anything to his servant or to all the house of my father, for your servant has known nothing of all this, much or little. So yeah, Ahimelech is just being honest, like, no, the king should not punish me or my house because we didn't know anything of this. We were just doing our job, and if he lied to us, we're not responsible for that. He deceived us. Of course, we fell for his lies. So we are not at fault for falling for his deception. So he did a good job. So yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. So why should I get punished for being deceived, for being lied to? I didn't know the man was lying. I didn't know. And yeah. And as the king said, you shall surely die, Ahimelech, you and all your father's house. Why, Saul? Can someone please ask Saul why Ahimelech should die? Why? I feel like Saul would have definitely been a dictator. I mean, this is giving dictatorship. It's definitely giving dictatorship, insecurities. So I feel like Saul definitely fits the mold of a dictator. And now Ahimelech and his father's house will die. Why? I don't know. And the king said to the guard who stood about, turn and kill the priest of the Lord, because their hand also is with David. And they knew that he fled and did not disclose it to me. How did they know? Yeah, so I kind of, sometimes I'm like, I see why people get killed by association, because now okay, Ahimelech didn't know. Ahimelech was just doing his job. And on top of that, Ahimelech is a servant of the Lord. So which also shows that Saul doesn't really fear God. He's just trying to assert his dominance over the people. And he's like, no, God, who's God? Who's God? So I'm here, I'm going to deal with you guys. So yeah. Yeah. But the servant of the king would not put their hands on or to strike the priest of the Lord. Good job, good job. The servants of Saul would not kill Ahimelech or his family, because they know the truth. They, like, as much as they don't necessarily want to admit it to themselves, they know that David is not guilty. And even that, Ahimelech was just doing his job. Saul gave Ahimelech authority over his bodyguards. He has free access to his household. On top of that, he is married to Saul's daughter. I mean, I feel like all these three things are things that Saul allowed. So how was Ahimelech supposed to know that now all of a sudden David is conspiring against Saul? So now the servants are like, ish, Saul, we understand that you have your issues, but I'm not going to be implicated in you sinning against the Lord, killing the servants of the Lord. So they're like, no, I understand, but no. The king said to Doeg, you turn and strike the priest. And Doeg the Edomite turned and struck down the priest, and he killed on that day 85 persons who wore the linen ephod. Yeah. So Doeg has no spine, obviously. So everyone else was like, no, Saul, we understand that things didn't go your way, but killing the people that were actually working for God, at least they had their fear. But Doeg was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll kill like 85 people who are actually serving in the house of the Lord, because they are wearing linen ephod, which shows that they are practicing peace. They are active. I don't know if they're called active or practicing or what. And Nob, the city of the priest, he put to the sword both men and women, child and infant, ox, donkey, and sheep. He put to the sword. Wow. So now everyone who lives there. Why? What did the donkeys have to do with with David? The children too, the wives. I mean, I could understand to some extent the priest, but what about the wives, the children, the animal? What do they do? Why do they deserve to get killed? Yeah, but one of the sons of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. So one of Ahimelech's sons escaped and he went to David. At least, honestly. And Abiathar told David that Saul had killed the priest of the Lord. Yeah, disappointing. So Abiathar, Ahimelech's son, told David that Saul killed all the priests of the Lord. There is no one. So I'm basically the last one left. And David said to Abiathar, I knew on that day when Doeg the Edomite was there that he would surely tell Saul. Yeah, I also knew. I also knew when I read that, especially because they mentioned that he was there. What would be the need of mentioning that he is actually there if he's not going to do anything? I was like, the snitch is going to snitch and give people stitches. So yeah. And yeah, David is saying, I knew on that day when Doeg the Edomite was there that he would surely tell Saul, I have occasioned the death of all the persons of your father's house. Oh, see, this is David actually acknowledging that because of him, these people lost their lives. He's not saying, like, he made it possible for them to get killed. So he, by asking for help, he actually made it possible. And yeah, he's not saying that he killed them. He's just saying, like, I made it possible. I sort of like opened the door. Stay with me, do not be afraid, for he who seeks my life seeks your life. With me you shall be in safekeeping. So yeah. So David, that's the end. So David is just telling Abiathar that, yeah, you're safe with me. Saul wants my life, so he obviously wants yours. So if we stay together, you have me and the people who are with me, so you will be protected. And yeah, David is safe to live one more day. So I kind of like Ahimelech, how he told Saul the truth, even in the side of death, because he kind of knew. I think as much as he hoped that Saul would not kill them, he kind of knew that, yeah, this little man would want to kill them. So, but he was like, I would rather die for the truth than live for the lie, especially being a servant of God. And even if he had lied, there was no way Saul was going to let them live, honestly. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. And so also, yeah, one of the notes I wrote was that, like, Saul kind of got upset that, I don't know if it, like that David took the sword, Goliath's sword. So according to Saul, who was supposed to keep that sword? Because according to my understanding, it was supposed to be David's memento for actually killing Goliath. Only David achieved that. So it was his. I mean, I can't do something and get an award, but then you expect to keep it. So, but yeah, I'm kind of happy with David's character so far. He, as much as, yes, he is being falsely accused, he is not retaliating or trying to avenge anyone. He's just like, let me just save my life. Let me just keep everything, and God at the center of it all. Let's just keep. God knows what to do, and God allowed all of this. Everything is in God's plan. So at this point, I like how David is actually submitting to God so much that he is not trying to take things into his own hands, because that's what we tend to do. When things are not going well, we tend to want to get our hands dirty. We want to do things ourselves or fix things ourselves, so much so that we end up ruining our own lives along with the situation. So, but yeah, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you next time. Remember, if you have any comments, suggestions, or just want to share some love, you can just send in a comment or whatever. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.